Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, Game Boy Advance, ASUS, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Ryujinx, and Ryujinx just released their progress report. I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. It's a great read and there's a ton of information in it. We're just going over things at a high level. So first and foremost, they fixed a GPU issue that some may argue was a little bit annoying. It affected RTX 3000 and 4000 series GPUs, and you can see the issue right here in the picture. There's a bunch of floating blocks. And here is the after, and you can see there's no more blocks. And here's the before and after with a nice slider, so you can see the nice boxes being removed. They also fixed a bug that caused some weird flickering. Here's the before, and now it shouldn't do that. In terms of performance, there was also some magic done to help out NVIDIA OpenGL and Vulkan drivers. And they also appeared to fix performance on a very specific combo, an AMD CPU paired with an NVIDIA GPU. Here's the chart for before and after, and the after is doing a lot healthier in terms of frame rate. And lastly here, I guess you can say Ryujinx got a little bit lighter thanks to program memory allocations that were reduced. The results here are a 44% reduction in allocation events, a 25% reduction in garbage collection time, and a whopping 32% reduction in program pauses due to memory allocation. They say there are very minor performance gains that you could see in intensive situations. Month over month, Ryujinx keeps getting better and better, and we've even covered stuff that Ryujinx has done since that progress report. If you're wanting to know what to use, Ryujinx or Yuzu for Switch emulation on PC, my answer is the exact same as it always is. Use both. Use Ryujinx, use Yuzu, use what works for you. But moving on, and we're still talking about Nintendo Switch here, and I didn't expect to see this in PC Gamer. I'll drop a link to this article in the description below and feel free to check it out. It is titled, "Thanks to the last 5 years of Nintendo emulation, Zelda Breath of the Wild has one of the best mod scenes in gaming." Now for best mod scenes, games like Minecraft and heck even Skyrim stick out like a sore thumb, but it's nice to see Zelda possibly in the mix here, at least for some people's opinions. Anyways, they talk about the Second Wind mod, the Linkle mod, Dark Army Resurrection, Breath of the Wild Randomizer, Relics of the Past, and Dangerous to Go Alone mods. The major downside I see to this article is that they talk about Yuzu and not Ryujinx, and I do think that's a bit of a miss and a little bit unfortunate. At the same time though, the article is worth checking out. You might learn a thing or two. But moving on, and next up we're talking about Game Boy Advance emulation on Android with Boy GBA Pro. Boy GBA Pro just got a brand new update. It's not the mainline version, it's the testing version. You can join the beta testing program right from the Google Play Store page. Just scroll down and join. There is only one thing listed in this update, and that's a brand new ROMs menu. You can see it right here, and if it looks familiar, it's because it was rolled out to Boy GBC Pro at the end of March. Next up, we're talking about the brand new yet unreleased ASUS handheld, the ROG Ally. And someone today decided to leak the specs a little bit. Some of these specs were lightly discussed on the Linus Tech Tips video, and some were not. Apparently it's going to have an AMD Ryzen Z1 series CPU, 16 gigs of LPDDR5 dual channel RAM. Dual channel will be huge. It'll have a UHS 2 microSD card slot, so your choice in microSD card will probably matter here for speed. It will also have 512 gigs of onboard storage and weigh just a little bit less than the Steam Deck at 608 grams as opposed to about 669 grams. The ROG Ally will ship with Windows 11 out of the box, so in terms of game compatibility, it's arguable that the ROG Ally will be better than the Steam Deck in that regard. I mean, the Steam Deck is running Linux, although Linux performs better, compatibility isn't there just yet. And the screen on this one has got a lot of people talking. It will be 1080p. And it will be at 120 Hertz. And a lot of people are not happy with that, saying, you know what, it's going to kill the battery, and the Steam Deck doesn't need 120 Hertz, and this thing won't either. But in terms of emulation, this actually might be a pretty beefy device. In terms of battery size and life, we don't know just yet. And in terms of price, we don't know just yet. It's been rumored to be priced between $800 and $900 USD, and let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts about the ROG Ally in the comments below. And speaking about Steam, next up we're talking about the Steam ROM Manager. For those who may not be aware, Steam ROM Manager stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano. And it's basically a way to get non-Steam things into Steam, whether it be games or even applications. In terms of development, Steam ROM Manager has been extremely active. They just released version 2.4.2, which adds the ability to add artwork for unofficial source mods via the Steam parser. And then they released version 2.4.3, which adds a new highly simplified EmuDECK theme, so if you're using this on the Steam Deck, you might want to check this out. And the most recent version here is 2.4.4, which is just some bug fixes. I'll drop a link to this in the description below in the event that you wanted to check it out. It is free and open source. And still talking about Steam, next up we're talking about Resident Evil 2 and 3. If you're trying to play these games on PC and you can't find the ray tracing option, you're not going crazy, you're not seeing things, or you're not seeing things. It appears the options have completely disappeared. And Resident Evil tweets out, "We are aware of an ongoing issue with the ray tracing option not appearing in the graphics menu and presets. We'll have this addressed in a future update and apologize for any inconvenience." At this point in time, I don't know when the update is going to be, but at least they've addressed it. Next up, we're back to the Nintendo Switch, and it appears that there's going to be an Indie World presentation tomorrow, and it's going to be 20 minutes in length. I think this one might be something to pay attention to. I'm a massive fan of indie games, and I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to unveil. If you know, let me know in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about Linux, and Fedora 38 just released. It comes equipped with a Linux 6.2 kernel, a Mesa 23 graphics stack, and GNOME 44. Now, if GNOME is not your thing, I don't blame you at all, and you can pick up Fedora in a bunch of other desktop environments, including some of my favorites, KDE and Cinnamon. And speaking about Linux kernels, next up here we're talking about Virtualbox, and Virtualbox 7.0.8 just released, and it supports the Linux kernel 6.3, which hasn't even released yet. And for those of you who are curious, we're expecting Linux kernel 6.3 to be released sometime next week. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I'm still a bit under the weather. Hopefully I'm feeling better tomorrow. But let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about today in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.